run to the store and no one would notice me. I dressed quickly in my normal uniform for leaving the house, jeans and a t-shirt. I peeked at myself in the bathroom mirror and rubbed my hands across my chopped natural hair. The woman looking back at me had dark circles under her eyes, making them appear even larger. In my past life, I'd worn weaves and makeup and had dressed up for the camera. I was surprised I didn't miss that part of my life. It was weird at first, but my natural face, void of makeup, wasn't all that bad. My milk chocolate skin was clear of the blemishes that came from following the regimen necessary to look good for the camera. I walked to the front of the house, still amazed about how I had made it my home. This house was owned by my father's sister. Claudia Robinson, better known as Aunt C, had been my salvation while I was growing up. She was the one person I could trust. As an adult, I didn't come to visit her as often, but we stayed in touch. When Aunt C died in January, no one was more surprised than me to find out I had inherited her house. It was almost like she used the opportunity to draw me back home. That woman had always had a plan. My companion, Callie, a big fat calico cat, stirred in the corner of the living room as I strolled through. The large green eyes seemed to be asking, "Is it supper time yet?" I'd never owned an animal, but this cat had become mine. Actually, it was more like I became her human. She lived here before I did, and she merely tolerated me as the new person charged with feeding her and taking care of her other feline needs. I scratched Callie under her chin and then grabbed my keys. "I'll be back in a few minutes," I said to the cat, as if she understood English. The sun had gone down a while ago, so it was dark out. I opened the front door and winced as the screen door squealed in protest. Gnats were buzzing around the porch light. I was grateful that this light worked by motion detection, since I'd forget to turn it on if that were not the case. I sucked in the evening air, raising my nose to sniff the Atlantic Ocean. As I climbed into my Honda Civic, I thought that the only good thing about my South Carolina hometown was its proximity to the ocean, a benefit I'd missed all the years I lived in Charlotte. I felt free, despite being back in Georgetown County. From the time I was a preteen, I'd felt like a prisoner within these rural town limits. As I drove, like an alcoholic seeking a drink, my mind began to stray from my mission. The corner store was about 3 blocks from the house. I turned into the convenience store parking lot and then checked my gas meter to see if the gas tank needed to be filled. I smirked. The tank was 3/4 full. It wasn't like I was planning to go on a road trip anywhere. I'd really become a bit of a hermit, the only exception being when my sister and her daughters came by. I welcomed the company since my relationship with my sister had become strained over the years. I ticked off the days in my mind, determining that this had to be a Wednesday evening since I hadn't talked to my sister since Sunday. I could count on my younger sister nagging me persistently to attend church with her and her family every Sunday morning. I swung the car into a parking space and jumped out. I still kind of missed my SUV, but I decided it was best to go with a more economical car. I was living off savings now. I noticed that parked on the other side of my car was a dark Ford Crown Victoria. Having hung out around investigators and law enforcement most of my career, I knew that vehicle had been a popular car with the police for years. I didn't stop to observe if anyone was in the car. I was on a mission. As I entered the store, I glanced over at the cash register and noticed the attendant. I stopped and waved like I was some beauty queen. "How are you doing, Marty?" Marty Davis was an older guy. I estimated he was between 45 and 50. His hair was gray around the temples, and he wore it in a small afro. He was a short man, but was definitely not slim. He looked tall and menacing behind the counter. I came in the store enough for him to know my face, so he seemed like a gentle bear to me. Tonight, when he looked at me, his smile seemed tight, and his eyes darted behind me. I wasn't in the mood to